smile is essential to positive body language for a number of reasons. First and foremost, did you know that your smile increases your face value? Think about it. The second reason that a smile is important is a lot like a gadget I recently picked up down under. And you probably recognize it. It's a boomerang. Did you ever stop to think that a smile actually looks like a boomerang? But probably more importantly, and I can almost do it in this room, what would happen if I were to throw this boomerang? And what happens when you smile? And what I'd like for you to do is join me in an exercise each day of your life in collecting smiles. Because I see far too many people walking the corridors at work or walking the streets of life, which is just sad, empty expression. And it's real easy. All you have to do is catch their eyes, put a smile on your face, and whether you know them by name or whether you even speak their language, if you smile, 9 times out of 10, you'll get one right back. Plus, you look darn good doing it, too. There's a lot of attitudes these days in the workplace, even on the highways of life. And we have attitudes about people that pass us by, in fact, almost cut us off in traffic. We call people that drive faster than us maniacs. We call people that drive slower than us idiots. And that we believe we establish the standard speed of mode of operation and everyone else ought to get out of our way. Now let's talk about the not so pleasant, the critics. Now I should forewarn you, these critical attitudes oftentimes use words that we shouldn't share in public, let alone in a professional setting. So keeping this appropriate, let's think about the words that you might hear coming from those negative attitudes. Those things such as, no, I can't, I didn't do it, or the classic excuse, it's not my job or not my fault. And how would you say they sound? Describe their tone. Give me some examples. All right, they're sarcastic. They're harsh. Angry. What? Grumbly. All right. How about the whiner with the whiny attitude? Wah, wah this, wah, wah that. There's always something wrong with everything in life. And finally, think about how they look. Opposite of a smile is a frown. In fact, did you know that it takes 44 facial muscles to produce a frown and only 7 to create a smile? In fact, studies have shown that it will take 3 times as much energy to be around someone who is negative than it does to be around someone who's positive. I call the negative attitudes our energy vampires because they suck every ounce of energy out of us. Heard the cliche? One bad apple can ruin the whole bunch. We are talking about oftentimes what happens when a positive, well-performing work team has one person that contaminates the productivity. What I'd like to do now is share with you 5 steps that I've developed to help you manage, coach, deal with those difficult attitudes in hopes to turn those bad apples into good apples. Now, how many of you enjoy a good compliment every once in a while from a customer or coworker? We love that. Now, how many of you can't wait to get the next complaint? Not quite there. Well, realize that a complaint is a disguised compliment. First and foremost, you need to change your attitude about a complaint, because how many of you can fix a problem that you know nothing about? Can't do it, can you? So the next time your phone rings, or the next time someone comes into your office and says, oh my gosh, we have got a problem, I want you to change that word around. You have an opportunity. How many of you enjoy conflict? In fact, you can't wait to try this out on someone. Not likely. In fact, men and women handle conflict differently. In fact, I will go to say as much that men handle conflict far better than women. For instance, have you ever seen 2 men at odds with each other? Whether it's at work in a meeting discussing how something should be done, or maybe it's a home improvement problem, and they're working it through and kind of sounding like they're upset with each other, but in the end, they'll come up with a very good, solid, concrete solution. And then afterwards, they'll go out for lunch or go out for a beer after work as if nothing happened. Okay? Now, fellow women, how do women deal with conflict? Oh, yeah. It's the cat fights. All right, now, women, we all have what's called baggage. Many of you today brought along a purse. It's where we hold our belongings. It's where we keep our keys, our photographs. It's the things that we need. Now, my challenge to you is, might you be carrying around some emotional baggage about a situation or a conflict that you need to either confront or forget about it. Because unfortunately, I've seen far too many people, specifically women in the workplace and in life in general, do ugly things with conflict. They do the glaring stares. They do the silent treatment. You know what they'll do? They will tell everyone else about a problem than the person at hand. So the fifth attitude adjustment technique is to stop shoulding on yourself. Now, I got some looks like I said something nasty, so let me clarify. I said stop shoulding on yourself. How many times in a given day does a voice go off and you say, oh my gosh, I really should do this? Or you know what, I really should do that. Or maybe you hit the wrong computer key and you said, oh man, I should have backed up. Well, recognize this. You can never should have done anything. Let me say it again so you can either jot it down or program it into your brain, because it's important if you should on yourself. Because you've either done it or you what? Yeah. How many times do we have a should do coming from our heart? You know, I really should say thank you to someone. You know what? I really owe someone an apology. Or you know what? I'm not going to wait until I have more time to do the things or say the things to the people that really matter most. So I'm going to leave you with the thought of what is it that might you be shoulding on yourself. And the other dimension of listening to your self-talk is that voice within us all. It's called self-talk. It's a little voice that's telling us the things that we can or can't do, the things that we will or we won't do, or the things that we like versus dislike to do. And many of you probably remember the story when you were a child, The Little Engine That Could. If you think you can or if you think you can't, either way you're right.